Hey guys, Pro1701 here, and today we are going to talk about the Doctor Who video game that I would like to see come out. It's the one I've always kind of dreamed about happening. And it takes an approach from a Doctor Who comic I really liked called Doctor Who the Forgotten, which is basically the 10th Doctor is the incumbent Doctor in it, and he ends up in what's basically a museum for the Doctor. He even goes into a room that has like all of his previous outfits lined up on display. And over the course of the story, he'll run into like an artifact that a previous Doctor carried, like say Tom Baker's Jelly Babies or Sylvester McCoy's umbrella. And then the comic would flash back to all of the previous incarnations. Each comic would flash back to a particular incarnation or two, usually two past incarnations a comic. And so you had a story with flashbacks to all the previous Doctors, all tying in together to this one adventure from the 10th Doctor. Again, it's called Doctor Who the Forgotten. I really liked it. I actually have it. I'm just not sure where I've got it buried at the moment. But I really enjoyed it. And I love a video game that took a similar approach where there's this really big threat, this really big evil threat, whatever happening to the universe. And the Doctor doesn't realize he's encountered it before. But slowly, each chapter you would replay as one of the previous Doctors. Like the very beginning of the story would start with the current Doctor, which I'll just say would be the 14th Doctor at this point. So you start as the 14th Doctor and you end up on this, like, say, derelict asteroid museum thing, and as you're uncovering pieces, kind of takes an Eternal Darkness approach, actually. If you've ever played Eternal Darkness, which if you haven't, stop watching this video, go play Eternal Darkness. It's one of the best videos ever made, best video games ever made. I love Eternal Darkness. But it really takes that approach of where in Eternal Darkness, you're in the year 2000, and you're finding different chapters of a tome, and each time you find a chapter, you play through the chapter that she's reading, and they all take place at different points in the past. This is kind of like that. You'll constantly find a clue as the 14th Doctor, and then when you find a clue to something, you'll replay that era as a previous Doctor. So you replay as the first Doctor, the second Doctor, all the way through the 13th Doctor. And as the story progresses from the first Doctor up, the stories start making more sense how they all tie together. Like say the first, second, third Doctor stories, they're almost like standalone adventures. They only slightly tie in with what's going on, like little hints, like think Season 1 Babylon 5, little hints and stuff. And as they go on, you get Season 2 Babylon 5, basically, which is the rising action stuff starts to happen with, like, say, Doctors 4, 5, 6, and 7. And as it progresses, you start really seeing it tie in with the overall threat that's threatening the galaxy. By the time you get to, like, the 9th Doctor, 10th Doctor, 11th Doctor, it's all really coming together. And so each part, as the 14th Doctor that you find, lets you replay a chapter from one of your previous incarnations. And you can do different filters too, like there could be an option when you're playing as the first or second Doctor to play in black and white. Or if you're playing as like the 4th Doctor, 5th Doctor, 6th Doctor, play in the 4:3 aspect ratio instead of the the 16:9. Little tweaks you can make in the options to make it feel more authentic to classic Who, maybe. You could get, of course, the surviving Doctor voice actors and companions back, and then sound alikes for the rest of them. But it's very much a thinking game. It's like a third-person game. It's all about puzzle solving, connecting the dots, finding things. Very much a thinking person's Doctor Who, which seems appropriate. That's what I would like for a video game, because it lets you play as all 14 Doctors or more. You could have a segment with the Fugitive Doctor, a segment with the War Doctor even. And so you get to play as all these different versions of the Doctors and have all these different companions in there. Maybe you could switch between the Doctor and the companion if the situation called for it. But again, it's more puzzle solving and just running around exploring all these different areas. And with so many different chapters, 14 or 15 different chapters, think of all the different places you could go. One could take place in Victorian Earth, another one in a planet far in the future, and another in 1985 in New York. So many different settings you could choose from. But that's what I would like to see. Something that kind of takes an approach from Doctor Who the Forgotten or an approach from Eternal Darkness where, again, your main protagonist, which would be the 14th Doctor, is finding all these different clues and examining them. And anytime they find a new clue, it takes you back to an event that's tied to that, much like in Eternal Darkness. When you find a new page of the tome, you actually play through that event in different time periods, which is a really fun game. Go play Eternal Darkness. So that's my thought on a Doctor Who game. I'd like to know what you think about it and how long it's going to be before we actually get some good Doctor Who games. We don't get a lot of those. I hear the VR stuff's good, but I have an Xbox, so I can't play it. So let me know what you think of this idea down in the comments below. I always enjoy hearing what you guys think. And I think a video game where you could play as all of the Doctors at different points would be really cool. Other things to do, click the like button, click the subscribe button, click the bell for notifications so you never miss out on a new video. I also have a Patreon if you would like to contribute to that. There is a link to that down below if you would like to become one of my patrons on my Patreon. Most importantly, stay safe out there, and thank you for watching.